On today's episode of the Who Is This podcast, we welcome a very special guest who also happens to be my brother, McKay Kempton. McKay, along with his wife Shayla, is the founder and owner of True Clean LLC, a commercial and residential cleaning company here in the Gila Valley. We talk about his career path, his family, and how he came to be the owner of True Clean LLC. Enjoy.
It's just me and my friends, me and my friends, me and my friends. I'm loving our day.
Okay. All right. Welcome to the Who Is This podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Happens to be my brother, McKay Kempton. What's up, guys?
Are you so excited to be here? Davis has been hounding me for a little bit, but made it.
He always thinks he's like a afterthought guest, but you're really not. We've talked about having you on for a long time. Anyway.
You're the perfect guest.
Yeah.
Just because you're Davis's brother doesn't affect that one way or another.
Well, when it's, hey, can you do the podcast today? It's like, well, I'm a little busy. Not crazy, but kind of.
That's just on us and not scheduling things very well.
Nevertheless, I'm excited that you're here because you have a very interesting trajectory to how you got where you are today. And I've watched you do it, but I've never really, I guess, understood the why and the how. And so that's kind of what I want to get into is some of like what inspired you to make some certain moves that you've made. And so that, like I said, that's what I kind of want to get into. So tell us, if you just want to talk about your career path, and you can start wherever you want, but tell us about that.
Well, so I guess I'll work backwards, but right now, my wife and I, we own True Clean. We operate here in the Gila Valley. We do all types of floor care and like janitorial services, house cleaning.
Not just the Gila Valley, though, right? You've done like Wilcox and
yeah, we've ventured out to Wilcox. We've done a couple of national parks actually for the feds.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And we will venture up to Clifton, Morenci, if we can. We have to make it make sense for us. But we started this about 2 years ago, I want to say. And the way it came about, when my wife and I, we moved here. I grew up here, but we moved here at the end of 2021 with the help of these guys. We
shameless plug.
In the middle of the pandemic, we had a baby. We needed a bigger place. We were living in Mesa, and we were looking at 1,500 square foot homes that were $500,000. And we were like, you know what, let's check out the Gila Valley and see what we can make work. So we got back here. We had been here for like 6 months. And
So, sorry to interrupt. Was your primary reason for coming back just because the housing was more affordable, or had you guys always kind of wanted to end up here?
It was mostly housing.
Okay.
Yeah, housing was, we wanted space.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be, I've never wanted to be a prisoner to a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we had a lifestyle that we wanted to live. So we found ourselves back here.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had been back for about 6 months, and we kind of like tossed the idea around of we should start doing our own thing here. And we kicked around carpet cleaning a little bit, and weren't sure if we wanted to do it, but finally we decided let's do it. We felt like there was an opportunity for it here. not that there wasn't other great companies here that were already operating and doing that, but we felt like we wanted to provide a service for our community, and we felt like it's something that we could excel at, and like I said, just be a part of the community, serve the community. So we ended up doing that. It's been going incredibly well, better than we expected. In fact, we find ourselves pumping the brakes more than pushing the gas, because we're newer to this, and we're being cautious because we want to do it the right way. We don't want to go into tons of debt. We want to make sure that we can be a business that is operating for a long time. But yeah, it's been fun. We can tell you that carpet cleaning and janitorial services is not a sexy business, but it's something that people need. It's something that people really appreciate, which is super rewarding. In fact, we just hired somebody, and I've been training him, and I mentioned to him the first day that we're not in a sexy business, and he kind of laughed. And then today we did some work for a guy, and he was just super appreciative, and the kid mentioned, I know this isn't, I know we don't have a sexy job, but it's really nice to feel appreciated. So love that about the industry. Anyway, going back, I've been in sales for the majority of my career. I know you guys had Michael Rummy in here recently. I started my sales career with him, knocking doors, selling security systems. That's when I got the first taste of it. And that's when I learned that I could stop trading my time for money and start trading my skills and my work ethic and my knowledge for money. And I stuck with sales pretty much ever since then, because it just fits the way that I want to live and work, and I don't want to be tied down for 8 hours a day. When my friends text me that they're going to go golfing, I want to be able to say I'm going to be there. I'm responsible enough to not go every time. But yeah, so I've been in sales roles since I was, 21 or 22, something like that. So yeah.
What do you think, because this is your first time owning a business, right?
Second time.
Oh, what was the other time? Remind me. I'm sure I know about it, but
Yeah, you wear a t-shirt every
oh yeah.
Half of my wardrobe.
Like in 2015, me and a good friend opened up a maintenance business together, and it did really well. He and I are still really close. We were actually brothers-in-law at the time, and not anymore. But when all that happened, we split. Felt best to split the business. He took over, and I was getting married to my wife now, Shayla. We've been together for 6 years, I think.
Fact check that.
I think it's 6 years, 2018. Anyway, but yeah, I've done it before. We had a successful business. It did really well. So
It was that business was basically when
it was we did turn work for property managers.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So tenant moves out, we went in, did all the repairs, cleaned it up.
So similar. I mean, similar to
Kinda
what you're doing now,
similar.
but yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same stuff, except for like the handyman type work involved with it.
Fixing cabinet doors or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And why not incorporate that into True Clean?
It is a difficult model of business to scale. So that you don't see a lot of handyman companies that are big.
Mhm.
It's because you have one guy who's really good at doing a lot of things, and it's hard to train somebody to be really good at doing a lot of things.
Mhm.
So it's difficult to scale that. If you had the money to get several people that could do one thing, you might be able to do it, but it was something that was hard. We found kind of hard to do.
So were you doing that up in Phoenix?
Yeah.
Did you I imagine going in and getting the property ready for the next tenant to move in? I have some rental properties and they leave a lot of junk. Do you have anything cool that anyone left that you were able to like, oh, this is mine now? Like,
Can I answer that for you?
yeah.
The golf clubs I've been using for the past 5 years are a
From
product of one of the
See, that's awesome. I wish something like that would happen. For me, it's usually a nasty couch or something like that.
So we had one in like Santan, I think, or it was Chandler. And we walked into this place and it looked like people were still living there.
They just bounced like they didn't do.
I mean, the place was trashed, but literally everything was there.
Oh my gosh.
So we were like terrified someone was going to be living like in the attic. Like we didn't know what was going on. The cool thing, I mean, not the cool thing, but what we would do with those, like dump fees up there are expensive. So we got all the stuff that was like reusable
Mhm.
and we'd take it to Goodwill.
That's cool.
And just donate it to Goodwill. Everything else that was trash, we would trash. But you'd be surprised. I mean, I'm sure you're not surprised, but literally, like people would just uproot their lives, and they might have the clothes on their back, but we'd find Social Security cards, like just everything.
That's crazy.
Did you ever steal anyone's identity?
Not yet. I don't know that those are the identities I most.
Yeah,
Good point.
that's crazy.
But no, it's yeah.
Go to a bank with a 400 credit score. Somebody's
Nothing too crazy. So
Dude, I think it's time that you get some new golf clubs.
I know.
those ones that you have are not the ones that I found there.
And they are.
No, I bought those. Like, I just recently sold them to you. Those McGregor irons.
Oh. Oh, never mind then.
But
I forgot I
the ones
did
you
that.
had before that were.
Yeah, I had that forever.
Same difference.
Dude, you know what's funny? On one of our man trips, somebody told me I needed new golf clubs, and I was like, "Relax, bro. This is just for fun."
Yeah. I mean, if golf clubs made a difference to
That's what I
my
think.
game, but I'm not even a golfer for clubs to even
Yeah.
effective whatsoever. So
Exactly.
tell that guy to kick rocks.
So, did you toss around any other ideas besides like doing True Clean? With like, what
Yeah,
were
where did
some
you
of the
land
other-
on that?
That's what
Yeah.
I'm curious about.
Like the business, like
Carpet cleaning.
what you're
and,
doing now,
commercial
yeah.
residential cleaning.
no, that was kind of always. I don't think we really tossed anything else around. I'm in the roofing industry as well. We thought a little bit about that, but the involvement I have in that industry is kind of the involvement I like to have in it. I don't think that at this point in my life, I don't really.
You mean you're a salesman? You don't want to be an owner?
Yeah, I don't want that that owner headache of that. There's a lot more liability involved in roofing than there is in like floor care and house cleaning. So I think where we're at with that is kind of where we want to be, but could happen in the future. Nothing planned right now. I still do roofing sales for a company in Gilbert, Five Guys Roofing.
Is that where Dave works?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're a fantastic company. I love the family there. They're great people, easy to work for, fun to work for. And honestly, that's their business model is kind of what we tried to, or what we're trying to replicate. When it comes down to like same with mortgages, I'm sure, but the product that we're able to deliver at the end of the day is really similar to what any other company here doing the same thing is delivering. But the experience that we're trying to give people in that delivery is what we're trying to do differently. Here, I mean, we all grew up here, so we've kind of seen that like, as long as you have a business here and your doors are open, you're most likely going to earn some people's business. That we haven't really had to do a whole lot of competition here, or deal with a whole lot of competition here. Where in the Valley, it's super different because you really have to compete for people's business there. And so you have to stand out. And that's something that they do really well is they do a great job standing out, really taking care of their clients. And I learned that, learned how to do that from them. So we're just trying to replicate that, provide a good experience for people, provide a quality product that they're happy to pay for at the end of the day, and just make a difference here. So
We had Casey Jones on, and he said like almost word for word what you just said. And yeah, I mean, he's I don't think he's the cheapest, but experience wise, of all the pest control companies I've ever dealt with, like I get a call 30 minutes before they come. Hey, I'm on my way, and a super friendly guy is going to call me. Once he's done, he'll call me, tell me everything he did. I mean, these are Casey's employees, not just Casey, and yeah, it's I'll always use them because of that, because of the experience that they're providing, not just the service. It's definitely true. And one more point to that is we say this a lot on this podcast, but Vance once told me, if you have good customer service here, you're always going to have business. And so that's part of providing that experience, is providing good customer service. And
you'd be surprised how many times we get a phone call and it's like, oh, you're the third or the fourth ones we've called, and you're the first ones to answer the phone.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, I mean, that's not a dig on any of the other businesses, but just kind of a testament to what we've tried to do. We want to be available. Like just answering the phone is, I feel like that's like the lowest rung of the bar that you should.
Yeah, if you're not answering your phone, how are you even in business? Yeah.
So, we're trying just hard to provide that experience. And right now, it's like we're in kind of a proof of concept phase prior to really, trying to grow this thing out, kind of like Casey's done. He spent a good amount of time making sure that he could expand business in this area, and we're starting to see that the opportunity and the need is there. So we're taking it. We're cautiously optimistic about what we can do with it. So.
Well, and I can attest personally to your guys' availability and being able to, or the experience that you provide. I mean, I've had you clean a few places of mine, and this most recent one is I called Shayla, and I don't know, that might not even be the best way to do it. You guys probably have a company line, but I have her number because you guys clean this office too. But I texted her and said, hey, I got a tenant moving out, and it's a lot worse than what I thought it was. And I, was wanting to get it cleaned before I started showing the property to anyone. So I was like, I want it cleaned as soon as possible. And she was able to initially she was like, well, our next available appointment isn't until here, but we can squeeze you in at this point. And I think that it's important to be able to do stuff like that because you know, not only are you taking care of that customer, but I tell people about you guys all the time. And I think that in a small town, by going the extra mile and going out of your way to do stuff like that is when you really get people talking and saying, yeah, they're fantastic. They're going to take care of you. And that's when the word of mouth is the best way to expand on. Yeah.
It's a interesting industry too, because there's not a lot of businesses, like as far as like house cleaning businesses, there's like 2, maybe 3 here.
There's a lot of people.
There's a lot of
houses.
Yeah. There's a lot of cleaners.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a little bit difficult for us to compete with the house cleaners because they're working for themselves. They don't have the overhead that we have to carry to be a legitimate business. And the cleaning side of it too. Sometimes people don't understand that. We're not always like Shayla gets kind of frustrated sometimes because people call her and they want something next day and she's like, we just can't do that.
Right.
We would love to be able to do that. But it's tough. It's tough to schedule things, and our cleaners have lives too. Like we love them to death. They're awesome. And she's all about a work-life balance for them, so she tries her hardest not to spring things on them. And I know for a fact that when you reached out to her, she was making sure with her cleaners that they were 100% okay with taking something on last minute. But they did a great job.
And it wasn't like next day or anything like that, but it was definitely not in their normal time slot. And what they ended up doing is just after they cleaned the office here, they ran over there and did it really quick, so they were able to squeeze it in. But that's cool that as the business owner that you are willing to take your employees' considerations into effect whenever you're making those types of decisions. Because if you start not doing that, just saying, without checking with them first, that's when you start getting disgruntled employees and things like that.
Yeah. So speaking of, we've had a lot of business owners. One of the challenges that they all seem to have is labor, workers. Just because we compete with the mine. Obviously, the mine, you can start the mine making great wages, and small businesses here have to compete with that. Has that been your experience, or what has been, I guess, your biggest challenges?
The mine is a big magnet for employment, which is a great thing because we need it here for we all probably wouldn't be here unless the mine was here.
Yeah,
so
it's whole economy revolves around.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have it there. It is difficult to compete with it, but going back to Five Guys Roofing, one of the things that we're trying to copy is with them. It's all about the culture of the business, and so I think being able to create a culture that people want to be a part of, like Casey's done it with Hydra. That's where we'll focus, and that's what I've seen with them. They've done like a fantastic job of doing that. In fact, this year, in 2023, the business met their annual revenue goal, and they took the entire company and a spouse to Cabo. Like, this is a big company. And
that's 5 guys that are that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, that would be freaking awesome to be able to do that for your employees, and we're working towards that. But I think if you can provide the right culture for people to feel like they're appreciated, I know that can be a difficult thing for people to mind because there's so many people there. It's hard to feel appreciated, and I think that that's one way to start to draw employment your way.
Yeah.
But we haven't had to deal with it as much. We're going after I don't want to say a different type of employee, but the people that we're getting aren't wanting employment from the money.
I feel like you guys would probably be competing more with people that want to just do it on their own. You know, like have you run into that of have cleaners that quit and just start cleaning by themselves? You know, just doing it themselves.
We haven't had that problem yet.
That's good.
No. And I think it does have to do with us really trying our best to like make them feel loved and appreciated and a part of something that's like bigger than just cleaning houses. Like we love the service that we provide. You know, we're happy to do it. Do we love cleaning houses? No. Does anybody love cleaning their house?
Right.
Not really. But it's bigger than that for us. And our hope is that our employees will feel like this is bigger than just cleaning houses. You know, we want them to feel loved and appreciated, and like they're.
How many employees do you have now?
So
Still good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, something like that.
Okay.
It's nothing big. It's just been kind of like a slow growth. We haven't pushed super hard. From the time we started to like today, the amount of money that we spent on marketing is, including the wrap that we have in our van, is like maybe $4,000, and the van was $3,500.
Right.
So we.
What else have you done besides the wrap?
We tried some Facebook
Yeah.
marketing. Those leads are trash. I learned that pretty quick.
Shout out Facebook.
We do some stuff on Google. We're Google guaranteed. It's a marketing strategy. I don't know how well it works. It was a suggestion to us from a carpet cleaning company in the valley, and it kind of puts you at the top of the list, but the list is like 4 people. So.
Right. So you're getting most of your business off of word of mouth.
It's probably like 75 to 80% off of referrals.
Yeah. Which that's my idea of a good business. Like if you're really good at what you do, you shouldn't have to go out and tell everybody how good you are.
Yeah.
I think referral business is 100% the best. That's the best type of marketing that I would want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have plans to implement some marketing strategies, but nothing in motion yet. So.
Because you guys are growing as fast as you want to be.
It's growing as like the days that we're operating are completely booked. So I like to have a day off every once in a while.
Absolutely.
So right now we're not pushing super hard, but we're at the point where it's like, okay, like we need to we have a bigger goal for this, and we need to start implementing the strategies to make that happen.
Do you have like a specific goal of where you want to be at in 5 years, or do you have anything like that? Like
we have
planned out?
Yeah, we have revenue goals. Our first year in business, we exceeded our revenue goal by like 50%.
Wow.
This year, we're on pace to hit it, and we don't have we haven't looked past this year yet. We don't have a BHAG yet. We need to get one. You guys know what that is?
No.
I don't know what that is.
It's a big, hairy, audacious goal. Yeah. Five Guys has their they always talk about their BHAG, but so that's where I got that from. But
Gotcha.
just something that's like so daunting that
Right.
it kind of scares you.
Yeah.
But no, like we're on the right path. Like I said, our primary goal was like proof of concept. Let's make sure that this is something that can happen. If all else fails, we sell the equipment and we wash our hands and we move on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it took off sooner than we had expected it to, which we're super appreciative of. The community has like opened up to us with welcome arms, and
Mm-hmm.
it's been good.
Would you ever want to, like, because the mine has a big contract with a company. I've done a few loans with people that work for that company. I think it's called EMS.
Mhm.
Would you ever want to compete with them and do like a big contract like the mine, or?
So we've had people that work for the mine that have given us the right contacts to talk to get in with them and start, trying to open that door. But we're not in a position to do that yet. But yeah, I think that would be something that we would definitely try and get to. That takes a lot of money and time and all that. But
You probably have to hire more people, because if they're going to keep you busy,
Yeah.
you'd have to keep your crew
Yeah.
here unless you just gave all of the residential stuff.
that's the one of the things that you see kind of happen here is you have a company come in, they do a great job serving the community, they get a big contract at the mine, and then they disappear
Mhm.
from here and they're at the mine, which that's fantastic for them. They're going to make a lot of money. For us, like the premise behind us doing this was we want to be able to serve the community and be a part of the community, give back to the community, and that's where we're at. If we get something going at the mine, that would be great. But our primary focus is going to be to take care of the residents here, and that's what we'll do. I don't think we'll I love money, but money's not.
Right.
It's not going to take away our values and our goals for what we wanted to do in the beginning.
That's awesome.
What has been the things that you've missed most about living in the valley compared to the Gila Valley? The Phoenix Valley, I guess. Compared to the Gila Valley.
So I go to the valley every week, so I don't miss much.
Or your family.
Because I would say the things I miss most would be just the variety of places to eat. But I get that when I go up there every week. Gosh, I don't know. I miss the traffic, I guess. I miss
The heat.
the heat.
Yeah.
Well,
there's like good and bad, to being there. Everything there is so available. Freaking same day delivery for Amazon.
You said Shayla's from up there, right?
Yeah, she's from Gilbert.
So how does she like living here now? She's been here for a few years.
She grew up in small town Gilbert.
Oh, okay.
So her house was surrounded by cotton fields, farm fields. When the Santan Mall went in, her parents were like, "All right, we're out of here," and they sold their place and moved to Young, which is even smaller,
Mm-hmm.
like way smaller than here. So she spent a few years there, but she ended up going back and graduating high school from Higley, I think, or Williamsfield, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But she likes it here. Like, she's a small town girl. She
Living in a lonely world.
yeah. Yeah, so she enjoys it.
Thank you. What about kids? So Traken, my nephew Traken, he was huge into baseball. Has that been tough on
How
him
old is
coming
he?
back?
15,
Because you guys have been here 3 years now,
almost 3 years.
but he's part of this team that, like, you know, they could go to World Series.
So he is
Little League
a
World
yeah,
Series. He's a great baseball player.
he's a gifted baseball player.
I am afraid of playing catch with him because he throws so hard.
Does he like Thatcher?
He's
What grade is he in?
He's a freshman this year.
So this will be his.
he's good
Sweet.
at baseball.
The
very first game I went to, insane. Very first time I watched him play, first time I watched him bat, crushes one over the fence. Like,
Nice.
and he's like 11 years old or 12 years old. I was like, this is crazy.
That's
But
cool.
anyway,
I would say that that's probably the thing that we miss most about being there. And that's the thing that this area is probably the most deprived of, is that level of like competition that you have just all around you. That's just the thing that we miss most about being there. He still plays with teams that are from there. So he still gets to have that competition and the ability to do that. The downside is, like, doesn't get all the practice time that they get. But when we were there, our life revolved so heavily around baseball. It got exhausting, and he ended up injuring his arm. He got what they call Little League elbow.
Mm.
And he had to take 4 months off. He couldn't throw. He ended up learning how to throw pretty hard with his left arm. But he couldn't throw. They didn't want him to really hit. And in that 4 months, he got a taste of what it's like to be just a regular kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started kind of getting away from it a little bit. And then when we got here, he started missing it. So like I said, he still plays with the team up there. They're very competitive. We've been all over. He's played tournaments in New York, North Carolina, Texas, freaking all over. We've been
That's awesome.
everywhere. And now, we get emails every day from college recruiters inviting him to camps to basically showcase his skill set.
What position does he play?
He can play pretty much any position, except he's never played first base or caught. He's a really good pitcher. He throws pretty hard for a 15-year-old. He has a great off-speed pitch and a great breaking ball. He can play middle infield, play outfield. So
That's awesome.
it's crazy to think about when I was in Little League, comparing the level of talent between what we have here, just playing City League or whatever, and they're you'd go watch and it was fun, because all the fundamentals are there.
Mm-hmm.
Those games up there, they'll make it through a 6 or 7 inning game with no errors on either side. That's awesome.
Well, that's why the Little League World Series draws such a big crowd because it's good baseball.
Yeah.
Like it's really good baseball.
I was watching a video recently that one of the pitchers in the Little League World Series, because the mound is so much closer to the plate, that as fast as he was pitching the ball, if you were to compare like the reaction time to a major league, it was faster than what any major league player is.
Which is awesome.
Facing right
which
now.
is also awesome that there's kids that can hit him.
Yeah,
too.
I know, it's
like,
crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
It's insane.
That is one thing that the Gila Valley. So when I was that age, I remember them having talks of like we didn't at least they have Little League football now. Like there's flag and stuff. When I was that age, they didn't even have that. I never played any type of organized football until 7th grade.
Yeah.
With middle school, and I remember. Like 5th and 6th grade, there was talks about it, and we were hoping they would happen, but it never happened. So that I am glad that it's getting better, and I think that it will continue to get better as the area grows.
Yeah,
you
that's one thing I've mentioned to people is this area is doing a heck of a lot better job of developing young athletes as far as like wrestling and basketball and football goes. But baseball, we're still kind of behind the.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So hopefully we can get a little bit better in that aspect. But like there's kids, they start kids like at 6 years old there, and these kids are freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we can get there here. And I wasn't a baseball player either. I played tennis, and but it's been a blast to learn. Like it's my favorite sport to watch now, to watch on TV.
People drives me crazy when people tell me how boring
Oh yeah,
baseball
baseball
is.
guy, you.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. I'm like, baseball is not boring if you learn the game and like all of the little things that are happening that you don't on the surface level, like you don't understand that's
So
happening.
much more strategy
There's
to it.
so much strategy to it. And my wife is coming around. She at first she's like she hated baseball. She didn't like to watch it, but she is mad at me now. I don't tell
You
her
show
that
her some old high school videos. And
Yeah, I was like,
film,
yeah, no, that's the thing. I guarantee you, there's not even a single. I don't think there's a single high school video of Thatcher baseball.
Yeah.
like to your point, like the Valley as a whole, but even like Thatcher schools, like baseball always is it's just on the back burner. People don't care about it as much. I mean,
and the funny thing is like the most. I only know of one like professional athlete that's come out of the Gila Valley, but the most like professional athletes are from baseball. I think, is that right? Should fact check me on that.
Oh, probably. I mean, obviously Elliot Johnson is
Right.
the one from Thatcher that everybody knows about, and
I feel like I hear about.
I guarantee you there's a lot more. Well, as far as like being drafted, 100%. There's more people drafted for baseball because of how Major League Baseball's farm system is. I mean, you can get drafted by the MLB and never see an actual Major League Baseball game. And that happens, I think, pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Like that's not to say it's not cool when it does. I wasn't drafted, I wasn't that good, but I think it's easier to get drafted in baseball than any other sport, in my opinion.
There was a kid in the circle that we kind of ran in with baseball that was just drafted, 17 years old, pitcher, signed a $3.6 million contract.
That's crazy.
Who signed it? His parents?
He signed it.
I feel like that's.
Can you sign a contract if you're not an adult?
If he was emancipated.
That's.
I don't know all that. But
I would say that's out of the norm, though. Usually, because I think there's. I don't know. I guess it depends on where you're drafted and who you are. It depends, But
he's a Scottsdale kid throwing mid-90s from the left side with a nasty breaking ball.
yeah,
So
That's awesome.
17.
So, but like you have all these professional baseball players that are in 1 and 2A. Like I think their average salary is probably like $35,000. I don't know exactly what it is. You look it up, but which is crazy because there's some people that spend their entire lives in the minor league system that they're living off of nickels and dimes.
Yeah. Gotta give Trax a shout out though. Trax, you're the son. He's funniest kid, but what's cool about Trax is he is good at like anything and everything that he does.
Yeah. Trax is a super athlete.
Yeah.
Um,
He's a little guy.
he's small, he's compact, but he is incredibly strong.
Yeah.
Is he the one that was just in that accident?
No, that was Trey.
That's Trey.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Super strong, like Ninja Warrior type stuff. He can do like he excels at it. It's crazy, and he's like incredibly smart. School bores him because he is so smart that it's just not interesting to him. He can do like we'll find him like teaching Traken, who's 2 grades ahead of him, how to do his math homework, and like it's stuff that he's never been taught.
He
He
just
just can
understands
see
it.
it and he understands how it works.
How old is he?
He's 12.
12.
Yeah.
So he's going. He's in 7th grade
So
right now. Yeah.
quick story. The other day, it's funny because he can't remember when it was the other day. He was like, I don't even like learning, but he's the kid that will go and just watch like tutorial videos on YouTube and stuff. The other day, I went over to their house and I was like, "Where's Trax?" And it was like sprinkling, and they're like, "He's outside." I was like, "What's he doing?" He's worm grunting. like, I guess he had just watched a video about worm grunting. You stick a stick in the ground and you like make it vibrate so the worms come up.
You try to.
Did he get any worms?
We live in the desert.
You gotta do it at the golf course on the greens.
Yeah, you
I
should.
bet you anything you get some out of that.
I guess you're trying to mimic the rain and brings the worms up. I don't know. It's
That's hilarious. But he just likes to
It's a
learn.
lost-
He
it's a
likes
lost
to-
art.
Very
He's trying to
naturally
do that.
curious guy. Is
That's awesome.
what I have observed about him. He's
Yeah.
So,
hilarious.
so how many kids do you have?
3.
So I consider you an entrepreneur. I think that you would, and one thing I love about entrepreneurs is they usually have their hands in a lot of different things and they understand a lot of different things. Do you try to pass that along to your kids? Like, have you, are they involved with your business at all? Do you kind of talk about stuff like that with them?
Yeah, so they work with us pretty regularly, as much as we can get them to. One of the things that I feel like we try to educate them mostly with is money management. We kind of, like, I knew nothing about money until I was probably, 30. Like, didn't understand how it worked. And it can be a super frustrating thing if you don't really get it. So that's probably our biggest focus the biggest thing we focus on with them is just helping them understand how money works, credit cards, like all these things that, we grow up kind of thinking are evil, but they're actually good, useful tools.
Debt.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, so that's a big focus of ours. Traken actually has a little t-shirt hat company that he started with his cousin. They sell hats to kids at school. I gave them like a little bit of seed money to get it going. They ended up paying me all of it back, and they're still operating off of their profits.
That's awesome.
I don't know how much money they bring out of it. That's all their business. If they have questions, I'll answer them for them. But yeah, I mean,
You should start charging him office rent if he's running the business out of your house.
they do have a room with equipment.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, like you grow up here and it's like your options are, the options that you think you have are you go to college or you go work at the mine.
Mm-hmm.
And then
We talk about that a lot. You don't see really what's out there growing up here, and you don't realize that you don't see that either.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And there's nothing wrong with going to work at the mine. Like, it's a fantastic career, and I have the people that I graduated high school with that are getting ready to collect their first retirement from the mine, which is insane. That I'm that old now, but I'm like, it's crazy. So
there's huge benefits for working for a big company like that. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
it's something that kind of frustrates me. That growing up, I felt like it was kind of this negative thing that we looked at it like in high school. Yeah, there was a real negative stigma on it, and I wish that I wouldn't have let that affect my thought process on the mine at all. But yeah, you have kind of this tunnel vision, like you're going to go to college or you're going to go work at the mine, and there's just so much more that's out there to do. Like,
yeah, we've even talked about on this podcast that, like, in high school we didn't even know loan officer was really a job.
Yeah.
And I didn't start doing this until I was 30 years old. I wish I would have started when I was 20 years old, and because I'd be so much further ahead of the curve. But I think that's what you're saying, or what you're getting at is you're just not presented with a lot of opportunity, which is a shame, but I feel like it's getting better. Yeah.
Well, even like the stigma on sales roles. It's like,
Right. Yeah.
It's just-
You're a salesman. Yeah.
And they make the most money than, and it's like, those are skills that will benefit you no matter what you do. Like, if you're just to get hired, if you can sell yourself to get hired at a company, like, it's such a skill set that doesn't get promoted enough, and it's hard to learn and hard to get good at, and it takes a lot of practice. And the school system that brings our youth up just needs to do a better job of presenting.
Yeah, there's zero emphasis on that.
The stigma with sales is that it's not guaranteed. Like, you've got to be good at it to be successful. But if you are good at it, you can be very successful. And I completely agree. I've had the same thought of, what if for whatever reason I lose my job at Man Mortgage? I am confident in my ability to go get another job somewhere else because I'm a good salesman.
Yeah.
And I hate saying, because of that stigma, even I just did it to myself right now, I don't really like saying I'm a salesman because people don't, but that's what you're doing is, by being a salesman, you're educating somebody on a product. And if you can do that in a good way and help them accomplish what they're trying to do, you're a good salesman.
Yeah.
And that's a skill that if you're good at that, then you'll always have a job.
Yeah.
But you have to get past the worry or the fear that people have of the self-doubt and the risk, because it is high risk, high reward. If you're not good at it, you're not going to make money.
Yeah.
But if you are good at it, you'll make a lot of money. And if you can get past that fear because I remember when I made the decision to go full-time doing mortgages, I had plenty, like a lot of people that are very close to me saying, "Are you sure? Like, you've got to." I had a really good job at the town of Thatcher. It was a great job. It had great benefits. It was a sure pays check, and they're like, they were almost trying to talk me out of making that change because of the fear involved with it. But if you can get past that, and I think it's hard. I think it's easier to get past than a lot of people realize.
Yeah. So the thing the thing that draws me to it, and I'll just tell you guys a quick story, but when I was like 10 or 11, my grandpa owned Howard's Mobile Paradise Villa.
JR talked about it.
Okay, cool. We worked there every summer. It wasn't a choice. My mom drove us over there every morning, and that's how we bought our school clothes for the next year. But I remember one summer, the day the first day of work, my grandma asked me how much I was. She was getting, or sorry, it was my first paycheck. She was asking me how much I was making that summer, and I didn't know. And she said, "Well, go ask your grandpa."
Oh, that seems like a missed opportunity.
She said, "Go ask your grandpa." I walked in there to his den. I was terrified. And I said, "Grandpa, Grandma wants to know how much money I'm making." And he said, "Well, how much are you worth?" And that has stuck with me my whole life. Like, how much am I worth?
That's a cool story. I didn't know that.
And so that's something that draws me back to sales, because sales, you can really like track how much money you're worth. Like I can track what my time is actually worth to me. Whereas like a 9-to-5, it's you're
They
only
tell you,
worth
yeah.
what they tell you you're
Mhm.
worth. And with my line of work, I get to decide what I'm worth. So it's something that continues to draw me there. Like, I don't know. I don't think I could ever take a salary again. If I went to a 9-to-5 job, the hourly wage would have to be incredibly high,
Mm-hmm.
just because at that point I'm trading my time for money, which I haven't done so long,
Right.
and I don't really want to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the freedom that comes with it is extremely rewarding too.
Cool. On that note, I think that's a pretty good
Place to end it.
place to out. That's I hope Courtney clips that.
That story is a cool
Yeah.
story. Yeah, that is a really cool story.
We always ask, is there anything that you'd like to plug or promote?
True Clean, our
How do you get a hold of True Clean? What's the best way?
So our website is truecleanaz.com. You can actually you can schedule appointments online. Our Instagram is truecleanaz. You can find us on Facebook, Google.
Call David. He'll get you the number of your cell phone.
No, I'm not a secretary.
If someone called you and said, "What's McKay's number?" you would give it to him. I know you would.
That's true. I'd ask for a commission on that.
Know your worth.
What am I worth?
Yeah.
I'd say that's it. Yeah, we just want to keep supporting and serving the community, and doing what we can to be a part of things here.
Well, one more thing, just so people are aware, you sell for Five Guys Roofing. They do service the Gila Valley now, right? So
Yep. We've
Anyone
done a
looking
couple
for a
of
roof?
roofs here. Happy to help out with that if anyone is in need or needs an opinion on what things look like. But here our primary focus is really going to be growing our cleaning and floor care business. So.
cool. Well, appreciate you coming in, even though it was last minute.
We asked him yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's a full day.
He knew he couldn't ask me to come in same day.
Cool. Thanks, Kid.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. You guys. Like Gucci.